Thank you for joining us here at the Noosa Mining and Exploration Conference. It's day one, and joining me now on Kitco News is a familiar face, a familiar Canadian face here in Noosa, Australia, Joe Mazumdar of Exploration Insights. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for being here, Don.
How jealous is Brett Cook right now that he's not here with us?
Very. How's that?
Well, Brett, if you're watching, hello. Thank you so much for joining me, Joe.
No worries.
So I want you to kind of set the tone for us here, because we're so used to talking about mining in North America, in South America. You know, set the scene for us here in Australia.
Well, I mean, I used to work here, and I went to school here, mostly all in Queensland. And Australia is a lot similar to Canada in terms of it's got a big mining tradition. They send miners all over the world, and jurisdictionally, it can't compete with many because it's right on the same par with Canada in terms of where you'd like to be.
Right, and it also faces some of the same challenges,
Yes.
like reading so many reports that there's a lack of skilled workers and interest. So, is that what are the challenges right now facing?
Well, I guess some of the challenges are like on the exploration side, because a lot of the easy deposits have been found because this is a place where a lot of people have explored, and so undercover is a big deal, technology is a big deal, and the Australians do it very well. And then going beyond that is that thing that you said about people, that's a global issue, and it's no different here than in Canada or anywhere.
So, Joe, as you know, we have been anxiously waiting to find the next big gold discovery. Could it be here in Australia? I've been talking to a lot of junior miners here. Of course, all of them think they're on the verge of finding it, or might be sitting on it right now, but could it be here?
Well, we know that, Novo has been here looking for the placer deposits in Western Australia, and that's been a big deal for them, but they've known about these types of deposits in Western Australia for a long time. Novo's come in here, brought in a new theory, and now there's, been a staking rush in there for the last 18 months. But I think it's more difficult to find that kind of deposit in Australia and Canada. That's basically outcropping. It's got to be undercover.
You think it's more difficult to find it in Canada?
In Canada and Australia, because of just the amount of people that have already been here and looked for these kind of deposits. And it's easier to find a deposit that's lower grade that may work just because jurisdictionally it's easy to work here. More people want to work here. Discount rates are lower here in terms of risk and how people look at you. So you can make a lower grade deposit work better here, because you've got more infrastructure than you could in a more infrastructure challenged country, and I think that's really what Australia's
And you also have the benefit of working, with the Australian dollar, which is a pro, like the Canadian dollar.
Yeah, just like the Canadian dollar.
So tell us, can you give us some picks that you're liking here?
Like in terms of companies that we dabble a lot in the ASX, and prospect generators has been something we've been looking at. So in terms of what we're looking at is one company called Hammer Metals, which actually has a big land package in a place that I used to work in, the Mount Isa Inlier in central Queensland, looking for copper. They got a cobalt JV with a junior actually in Canada. So we're in the micro cap company, basically. So we deal a lot with the ASX. Right now, that one and another one that's in development and exploration called Gold Road.
Okay,
all ASX listed. Joint venture with Goldfields, developing the Gruyere open pit mine in Western Australia. But their big advantage is exploration.
Right.
And so
they're about to be in production, right?
Yes, exactly. But who's leading that is Goldfields. They're not doing that. So you get the benefit of them not taking on all the technical risk. There's a producer that's doing all of that, and they're just along for the ride.
All right, so let's bring this back to mining as a whole now, not just Australia. It's been a tough summer so far for mining stocks and gold, but traditionally this is the case. Mining stocks tend to bottom out in the summer. So is it a buying opportunity? How do you see it, Joe?
Well, I mean, the big issue is we have the issue about, the summer doldrums go away in May. So that's obviously there, and we have a lot of stocks that are liquid. But we're still seeing activity. I mean, we're seeing a Nevson with the all cash bid now from Lundin, and they've upped it to, I think, 475 all cash. So we're seeing that in the summer. So, I mean, we're seeing activity in the background with industry making moves, but we're not seeing a lot of action in stocks, and the trade wars is not really helping with a lot of the base metal and lithium stocks. But what we see is that if the long-term fundamentals continue, and this is a short-term blip with all the talk about the trade wars, this definitely is a buying opportunity.
And if we look at the gold price, down 1% just on Tuesday alone of this week, it's hard for me to keep up with the times and the days here in Australia. But you know, a lot of analysts I've been speaking to are saying, look, like gold's really on the verge of a breakout here. Have we heard this too many times before? Do you believe it?
Well, I hear both. I hear it's on the verge of going up and it's on the verge of collapsing. Again, our feeling in terms of where we're going is basically commodity agnostic, looking for high margin deposits that can live through the cycles, such that we're less concerned about what the gold price is now than finding a deposit that works at this price.
People forget you don't need a huge rally to still make money in this sector.
Absolutely.
Right? Isn't that one of the biggest misconceptions?
Yeah, I mean, we've done very well on stocks that have been buyout takeouts because they've just found something that everybody wants. And that goes counter-cyclical, it doesn't really matter. So Nevson's now got the Timok deposit, and what's nice about those deposits like Timok or Long Canyon with Frontier is they get taken out more than once. They'll get taken out a couple of times.
Yeah.
And so that's what's happening in Timok, that's what happened with Long Canyon. You know, will we see that? But I mean, really what you want to do is own these great assets, and when they're cheap, you buy them. You know, don't buy the leverage, because you might end up on the other side if gold goes the other way or base metals goes out the other way.
I want to just get back to one thing you said, Joe. You were saying it's becoming harder to find these great big discoveries in Australia and Canada. So would you go out there and say we are at peak gold?
No, I don't really believe in that, because I mean, the money flows where the money flows. And so if everybody's going to Australia or Canada, that's where all the exploration money is going to be founded, and especially in gold, because a lot of the exploration is being not being funded by majors now. Like 20 to 25% of the grassroots is being done by other companies, and so that funding is directed by the finance markets, and they'll only finance the ones they want to. And so what we've seen in terms of financing is some people get money, and they can issue shares with no warrants. And get almost to do it at the money, and other people just have not found any money in the markets. And so the money is going to people that should have it, I believe.
Joe Mazumdar, thank you so much for joining us here in beautiful Noosa, Australia. It's so nice to find a fellow Montrealer, familiar face.
Well, I'm a Habs fan.
Habs fan, always. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching. We'll have much more for you, so be sure to stay tuned to Kitco.com. Thanks, Joe.